Yes, so our next session is about SSRS 2019 and Power BI. Our speaker is Argelo Royce Bautista, Microsoft MVP for Data Platform from Philippines. He's also a Microsoft certified trainer. So I'll let him continue with the session. So yeah, it's all yours, Argelo.
Thank you very much, Pio, and thank you everyone for letting me participate in in Singapore SQL in Singapore PASS. Such a prestigious group. Anyway, so our topic for tonight is SSRS 2019 Power BI Better Together. So once again, I'm Argelo Bautista, a computer engineering graduate, and I've been in the BI landscape for the past 6 years, mainly dealing with Power BI and Microsoft Excel. And there, I do have 2 years of experience in web development, but most of the stuff that I do there is Angular and jQuery. And there are times that I do SSRS report. So that 2 years was yeah, that's way back 5 or 8 years. Um, it's quite old. And if you're going to look at the SSRS technology itself, it's actually 15 years old already. So why the sudden interest in SSRS 2019? So if you want to know more about that, we have a group dedicated for SQL Server admins and other data platform enthusiasts, the Philippine SQL Server User Group or the Philippine Data Platform User Group. So if you want to join and interact with us, please feel free to do so. So our agenda for today is what's new in Power BI, what are paginated reports, difference between Power BI reports and paginated reports, the case for SQL Server reporting services on an Azure virtual machine, and deploying paginated reports connecting to on-premise cloud. Wait just a minute. Let me double check. I think there's okay. Yes, so I'll just give you an updated agenda. Basically, we are going to utilize the SSRS 2019 on Azure VM. So there's an updated slides here that tells about the demo that we're going to do. So why the sudden interest in SSRS 2019? So lately in the Microsoft Business Application Summit, they released the Power BI Report Builder along with the Power BI Premium Capacity XMLA endpoint. So that XMLA endpoint allows you to access Power BI as a SQL Server Analysis Service. And that SQL Server Analysis Service can be used in the Power BI Report Builder as a data source. So that's SSRS getting data, that's Power BI data to SSRS data. Now, the other features of SSRS 2019 is the ability to pin report items. So that is SSRS going to Power BI. And we also have the SSRS URL reports, URL parameters, in which you can use to implement a drill through from a Power BI report going back to your SSRS report. And what's more? Yes, they also have upgraded the Microsoft Report Builder, in which you can connect to the in which allows you to create DAX queries to get your data from the analysis services, not just NDX queries. Okay, so what are what exactly is paginated reports? Well, I've already been talking about SSRS reports. So yeah, it's basically SSRS reports rebranded. So optimized for printing and PDF generation. They provide the ability to produce pixel perfect layouts, and they are based on SSRS reporting services. They are actually the report definition language. And if you created a report definition language on Microsoft Power BI reporting or Power BI paginated report builder, you can actually open it in the old report builder. However, the difference between the two builders is that the Power BI report builder has the capability to add Power BI premium dataset directly. On the other hand, the Microsoft Report Builder has to use the SQL Server Analysis Services as a data source. So these reports are called the Pixel Perfect report. Oh, another difference between the Microsoft, the Report Builder and the Power BI Report Builder is that the Report Builder cannot directly publish to a Power BI workspace. So the Power BI Report Builder can do that, directly publish to Power BI workspace. Another difference is that the Microsoft Report Builder cannot directly publish to SSRS server. There's no option to do that, but the Microsoft Report Builder has the option to do that, publishing to the SSRS service. So moving forward, contrasting the paginated reports, the Power BI reports are built for analytic reasons. No? So you need to constantly interrogate the data and the graphs that is on the report. So if you have a paginated reports that has a lot of graphs and deals with large amounts of data, I would suggest that you might want to consider using a Power BI report instead. Supported data sources. So these are the same data. These are the same data sources in the Microsoft Report Builder. The only difference is that the Power BI Report Builder can directly connect to your workspace and select the Power BI dataset from there. So the consumption of paginated reports is also the same. However, if you are going to look at the Power BI mobile app, you can sign in to your my phone. You can sign in to your reporting services, but if you try to use or if you try to look for the RDL report, you won't see anything. You won't see anything. You will only see the mobile reports that is created using the DataZen mobile report builder. But in the case of the RDL reports that is deployed to the Power BI service, you can see the reports. Just a minute. Oops. Wait. You can see the paginated reports. So let me demo that real quick because I don't have that in our items. So as you can see, this is the Power BI app, Android app, and there are two servers that we can connect to. So the first one is the web service, the Power BI web service, and it allows us to navigate and see the paginated report. So this is the Power BI report, the analytic one, and this is the paginated report, so the operational one. So let us look at that. So this is the one that is deployed on the Power BI server. So if you click View Report, you will have a full what do you call that? The full control. Well, there is no sadly there is no export, so you might have to do something else. But if you're going to look at the SQL Server reporting services, you won't see anything because I haven't deployed any mobile reports. So if you're going to look at it from the web portal, you will see that there are paginated reports here, and one of them is the sales order details. So okay, let me restart the virtual machine real quick. This is what do you call that? Anyway, so while we are waiting for that, I think it would be best to continue on with the presentation. So the next is the requirement for the paginated reports. So the Power BI paginated reports is only available to Power BI Premium, the PSKUs, and the Power BI Embedded, which is A4 to A6. And you need to enable the paginated reports, workload. So and to enable that, it requires the admin capability. So you're going to set the maximum memory that is based from the allocated capacity that you're paying for. So moving forward, what are these? How much are these PSKU and the ASKU? So here you will see that the ASKU, the minimum amount that you need to pay per month to use the paginated report capability is almost $6,000. And on the other side, you will see that this is the Power BI Premium subscription, and the minimum Power BI Premium would either be 5,000 per instance per month, which is on a yearly basis, and 6,000 per instance per month, which is on a monthly basis. So it's almost the same, $6,000. And if let's say that we are going to allocate 20% of your premium capacity to the paginated reports workload, you are actually paying somewhere around $1,200 for that feature, or for the flexibility of the feature of the resources to be used in Power BI reports and paginated reports. So do you really want to pay $1,200 for that for that feature? So you might want to rethink that, because I am proposing that you might want to consider using Azure VMs. So an Azure VM, or particularly this Azure VM, the SQL Server 2019 on Windows Server 2019 is the 8-core equivalent, or the maximum memory, which is 32 gigabytes of RAM, is only $680. Of course, what I'm proposing is that instead of using a software as a service, you might want to level down to infrastructure as a service. Of course, moving down to that level, it automatically tells us that we will have extra administrative tasks. So in order for us to use SSRS on an Azure VM, you would need to install it on this virtual machine. So let me check my slides first. Okay, so we are now going to demo. Thank you very much. Let me end this slideshow first. So our first demo is oh wait, before we proceed to connecting to the dataset, let us first look at our the Azure virtual machine. So successfully restarted. So this is our Azure virtual machine, which is using SQL Server 2019 data center, and I think the size of this is, yeah, I'm using this one, the 8B CPUs and the 32 gigabyte of RAM, which is around $633 per month. And to access your SSRS portal, so I've already installed the SSRS here. Let me show you the just a minute. Let me connect to the RDP. So it's a bit of manually manual configuration. So you install that configuration manager. Okay, so you need to configure your web service, and then you need to configure the database that is going to be used by your SSRS as the report catalog. So this one, so it's required that you have a database engine instance, and one of the new features of SSRS 2019 is that it can use SQL managed instance as the instance that you are going to where it will host the database engine. However, the Azure managed instance for the Azure SQL managed instance does not include hosting the report server itself or the report the report portal. So the web portal URL is here. Let us use the canary. And another one is this, the email setting. So if you want to use the SSRS subscription, you have to configure this. In comparison with the Power BI reports, it's already configured. You just need to set up your subscriptions. Now, one of the things that you need to do for you to be able to pin a report item is to connect to your Power BI tenant. So in this case, you need to register. You just need to log in using an account to your Power BI tenant, and then you will now have this button. So let us look quickly at this one. It will work. So you will now see this button, the Power BI icon, and once you click that, you are going to you can now pin the report item to your dashboard. So in this case, I think so you notice the change in your web UI. You need to click this one, and then you're now going to choose which workspace you want to pin, which workspace has the dashboard, and what dashboard you're going to pin it to. Sadly, I wasn't able to configure the SQL Server agent in the Azure virtual machine. So if I try to pin this, it will respond into an error. So let us move on from that from that demonstration. So let's go to the data source. So we want to use the Power BI. We want to use the this one. We want to use the XMLA endpoint of our workspace as a SQL Server, SQL Server Analysis Service data source. So you might want to utilize the shared data set that SSRS service is offering you. So just click new and then click data source. Shared data source, I'm sorry. So name the data source, so SSRS 2019 DBI demo, and data source for Power BI Premium Tenant. And you're now going to choose the connection. You're going to use this, the analysis service, and then the connection string. So so the connection string is I don't memorize the connection string. Just a minute. I'm trying to open my report builder. So similarly in our report builder, you can also add the data source, your Power BI data source. So let us use an embedded connection in our. Let us create a embedded connection in our report. So this is So we're going to build the connection string, which is the server name of your analysis service can be found here in your workspace. So after going to your workspace, you go to settings and you will see this premium tab. The premium tab has the workspace connection, which can be used as the analysis service server name. Now, if you attempt to open the dropdown, it will prompt you for your username and password. So just use the Microsoft account that has the access to the Power BI tenant, and it should show the Power BI datasets that is on the premium workspace. So in this case, I'm going to use this one, the sales analysis grid. And if you try to test connection, you will not going to, it will not succeed since you haven't configured the credentials over here. No? So just use the same username and password. And then after that, when you try to use a test connection, it should succeed. Okay. So you now have your connection string. So this connection string that was built using the report builder can also be used in our web portal. So, and you need to use this the database username and password. So that is oops, sorry, wrong email. Our MVPs. So as you can see, it connected successfully. And since we are using our email and password as a database username and password, you can also use SSMS to connect to the analysis service. Okay, so let us create that, and you will see that it is now a shared database. It is now shared data source. So nope, I'm not going to remember that, and then I'm going to get out from my virtual machine. So of course, if you use an embedded data source, when you publish it to the report server, it will ask for a username and password. So instead of repeatedly putting the username and password there, I would suggest that we just a minute. I suggest that we use the shared data source, but it's not showing right now. Just a minute. Let me try opening this report builder again. Data source, add data source, and why is it not showing? Oh, sorry, I have to go to the okay. So there you have it, the SSRS 2019 TBI demo as a shared data source, and let's say that this is a sales analysis. So now that this is connecting, it is now that we have a shared data source, Report Builder already knows that this is an analysis service. So when you try to add the dataset DS main, you can use a dataset embedded in my report. So we want to use the analysis service dates, the analysis service data source, and connect to it using our credentials. So this is not a talk about how to securely do this, no? But if you're interested on that topic, you might want to find a way to use Azure Active Directory and Azure Key Vault when configuring your speaker connections. Oh. What edition of SSRS supports Power BI reports? Okay, let me rephrase that question. What edition of SSRS supports Power BI Premium Dataset Connection? So the version that we need is SSRS 2019. Okay. So here we have connected, and as you can see, you now have two choices here, the traditional MDX and the DAX. So we want to use the DAX, and let's say that we want to recreate this report. Where is it? Wait. Okay. Let's say that we want to recreate this report here in the sales analysis. That's what we call the sales order. So we want to see a So you see, when you try to export this to PDF, what Power BI will do is render the report, take a picture, and then put it on the PDF page. So what we want is to have this all of the data rows in this table. So that's what we want. And what are the data elements that we want? We need the sales order as a parameter, the line, the product, the quantity, and the sales. So let us go here, and obviously we want to get the sales order line. Okay, it's loading. Okay, so just drag and drop it here, line number, and the sales order. The sales order in our dimension, which is the filter. And then the next thing that we need would be the product. So when you drag and drop these here, the report builder automatically detects the relationship between your fact table and your dimension table. So moving forward, we also want the quantity and the sales. So the quantity is actually a measure. So you need to look at this one, a quantity and the sales. So similarly, in your Power Pivot, the quantity and sales is evaluated on the row context. So let's try to execute the query first. Oh, we should have done that because we don't have any filters. So it will take us a while. So going back to the question, what edition of SSRS supports Power BI reports? SSRS do not support Power BI reports, sadly. You would need the Power BI report server so that you can upload the Power BI report and use it on a similar context. So okay, next is we need a sales order as a filter. So let's say that we want to filter it by what's that in the 51721. So it should be somewhere down here. Never mind. So let's just have a quick filter here and use it as a parameter. Okay. So execute the query again, and just to check, are we having everything that we need? Line, product, quantity, sales. Okay, we just need 4 columns. Okay, so now we have a smaller set of data. It's okay, and report builder will now generate that query. Okay, and still generating the query. Still generating the query. Sorry, I forgot to turn my camera on. Let me. Okay, so you now have the query generated. So it looks like a bit complex, but what it's saying is that it is testing for a bunch of things. Let us click OK here first. Uh, hmm. This is by the Let us first finish it load. Let us first let it finish loading. So there you have it. So if we try to run this report, oh wait, I still need to add a table, quick table for this one. So the line number, the product, the quantity, and another column, the sales. And then we want to have here order, and then we want to add a placeholder for our parameter, which is the sales order. Okay. So let's run this report and see what happens. Okay, so you have a default, the default parameter, which is the first sales order, and then you also have a choice of doing you have a drop down, so you can choose multiple reports, multiple sales orders, but this is not what I want. Not what I want. So let us go back to the parameter and then do a bit of changing. So I don't want to allow multiple values, and I don't want to allow blank values. So I just need a default value, which is this one, and available values. Do I need to get available values from a query? No, I just want to manually enter the values. So okay, and if you're going to look at that, I think it would be it should be a bit easy. Okay, it's not okay. Let me reconfigure this data set properties. So I think I forgot a bit of settings in the parameter when I configured it. So let's go back to the query designer. And let it load. Anyway, if I totally forgotten this before 8:40, we're just going to open the demonstration that I've already prepared earlier. Give me about 3 minutes to troubleshoot this. So you might be wondering why it's very slow. It's only slow on the query designer, on the Microsoft Report Builder query designer. So I would suggest that instead of using the query designer, you might want to use the DAX Studio. Where is it? Okay, so this is not going to we're not going to just Okay, let me open the ready-made demo that I already prepared beforehand. Uh, Seems that this thing is not very cooperative. My mind is not yet. It's not very cooperative right now. Okay, so I want to open from SQL servers the SSRS side and the order details demo. So I'm going to give up on this one, and let's use the other one instead. Let's use the other one instead. So here, so in your DS main, you will see that the query is a bit simplified, and it is actually using this RX custom DAX filter in which you are inputting the sales order. Now let's go back here to the parameter, and I don't want to have default value on my parameter, so and I don't want to allow blank value. It will cause an error in my report. No? So it is required. So now we have this one, and it is showing the expected output that we want. So let it spin a few more, and there you have it. So the key is using this one, the RX custom DAX filter, and usually the report builder generates it for you, but it seems that the Microsoft report builder is not generating the query that I'm expecting. Instead, it is generating a different query, which is maybe implemented already inside in this custom, what is this, custom function. Okay, so that's for the parameters, you know? So if we want to have a cascading parameter, what we need to do is to change this parameter from text to modify this parameter to include the specific values, and you would want to get a value from a query. Now in this case, the query should be a separate data set from your main data set. So I'm not going to attempt to do that on the fly. We're just going to look at this one. So in this case, we have the parameter of sales order, and it is getting the available values from the sales order data set. So this is the sales order data set, and if you're going to check the sales order data set, the sales order data set is being filtered by another parameter, which is what we call the salesperson. And this salesperson is getting its value from directly from the data source itself. So if we're going to look at that cascading parameter, let me run this report. Okay, wait, I think I'm not open. Let me reopen this one. Cascading parameters. 2019 RDL. Okay. Let me open this one, and you will see that the sales order number dropdown is now dependent on the salesperson that you're selecting. So this is 43849, and then let us look at JPAC. You see a different set of sales order values. So if you want to see that on the web portal, as you can see, there's hiccup between changing this one to that one. So let's view it in the web portal. This one. This is the sales order cascading parameters, and it's relatively faster because it's in the Microsoft data centers. can view that report. So so far we have demonstrated the first three, and I've already shown you where to register SSRS with the Power BI Cloud and how to do the pinning on the report item. So we want to explore now on the report URL parameter. So what is this report URL parameter? So you have two ways of interacting with report services. So the user-friendly way is through the web portal, which is your server/reports. If you want to interact with the web service, you have to use report server, and it will show you a less beautiful way. But if you navigate to, let's say, this one, okay. Okay, that's sad. Wait, something is not right here. Okay. Check again. Earlier this is working, now it's not. Okay, let me restart the VM again. It's acting up. Maybe I executed too much queries. I don't know. Anyway, so the point is that the point is that you can actually access your reports through a URL. No? So you can create this URL. This is the report server, and then /report servers, and then the page through report viewer. So you will have this the file path to your RDL report, and then you can issue URL parameters such as this one. You are telling them to render in HTML5 using the these two parameter. No? So this is a sales territory, group Europe, and then employee key. So to have a better understanding of this, let's try it in our web portal. I hope this thing works now. Where is it? Sales order details. No. What was that? It's a salesperson directory. Okay, so let's go back. Salesperson directory, and we want to navigate to that salesperson directory. Where is that? Is that URL? Salesperson directory. Okay. And in this case, it's PACJ. So you view the report, and similarly, without the branding, you can interact with your report. So as you can see, this the URL parameters are documented in the Microsoft Docs. Just going to include the link in our presentation references. So the point is that you can create your own URLs, and then you can paste it, or you can access the URLs through your web browser. And similarly, if you can do that via web browser, you can also do that via buttons in your web apps. So let me open this Power BI report before everything is before the time runs out. So you just have to take note of how to create the URL. So you have the command render, and then you can also change it to a format equals PDF. meaning that instead of rendering a web, an HTML5 content, you would rather have it on the format, on the format of PDF. You would rather download a PDF. So let's try this one, which is let's modify this. Instead of doing a command, we want to format, format and then PDF. Going to download the PDF report. Okay, so as you can see, it downloaded the sales order details.pdf. And if you view that PDF, you will see that you will actually get the 51721 sales order. And now, to fully close the loop, since we're already getting data from Power BI, we're now rendering we're now rendering the Power BI data in our paginated report, and we can get all the details that we want. Let's now include that link in our Power BI report. So the key here is to create conditional formatting and the URL. So if you're going to look at the Power Query behind this Power BI, you will see that in one of the tables, I have constructed the URL per row. Although this might not be a good practice since you are creating because of the high cardinality of the string, the size of the model might be bloated. So you might want to implement a DAX measure instead. Anyway, the point is that you have to, one way or another, allow Power BI to generate the URL that you need to do. So in this case, it's the report server, a report web service via report viewer, and then the URL parameter, and then your dynamic content, which is the sales order number. Okay. So once that this is created, you are now going to go to your table and configure the conditional formatting. So where's that located? So it is here in the format and here conditional formatting. So make sure that you selected the correct the correct column that you want to have your URL, you want underlined, and then you turn on the web URL controls here at the very bottom. Now you go to advanced controls, and then it will now ask you, based on what field are we going to use the based on what field are we going to use this as a URL. So in this case, it's a bit simplified since I already created on the Power Query. I just click the column that I created. Okay. So after clicking OK, it will now have your underline. And as a test, if you try to click it, it will open the URL, and it should download the PDF since we specifically entered format PDF. So there you have it. It downloaded the PDF. And what did I click again? I think it's somewhere here, 71. Oh, it's 499, 46993. So there you have it. Okay. So once that you publish this to Power BI, you can see. No, not this one. Got it. Sales analysis, Riyadh. You will see that it is also clickable, and that it will also download the PDF. Now, if we are going back to our phone, okay, let us connect to that. Let me connect to the phone. Okay, so it downloaded the PDF here. I think we clicked the very first one. Is it the very first one? No. It is the 49890 or 980. Well, it's not showing, so let me click it again. I forgot what I clicked. Okay. So going back to our wait, it's already here. Okay, there you have it. So 59465, 59465. So you are now, you have successfully implemented some kind of a drill through feature with your Power BI. And the best of that is you can oh no, the wrong window. The best of that is you can also use it when you are accessing your mobile phone. So this is the Power BI report, and okay, it's loading the data, salesperson and sales order. You will see that this is a Stephen Jang. So let me change it a bit. GPAC. I want to use GPAC, and that is 51160. I tap on the 51160, and okay, it's asking for a username and password. Let's see if I could sign in. Okay, I think it's downloading. It's loading. Still not loading. Okay, what happened? Wait, let me do it again. It's not. Okay, there you go. So it's asking me to download it again because I already tested it earlier. And if you're going to open, you can see you have the 51160 sales order, which is our demo for today. Okay. So is that all in our demo list? Yes. So that's using SSRS URL parameter to implement the drill through from PBI report to SSRS report. So so far, do you guys have any questions?
Does anyone have any questions? You can use the chat if you
No.
If you have any
Don't
question.
want to speak out loud.
Yeah, I don't think. Looks like no one has any question.
Okay. So hopefully you enjoyed our talk, and yeah, thank you for staying up until the end of this talk. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Arjun.
Yeah, so thank you.